Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrunk, and I'm reaching out to the student body. Okay, students, let us talk about this new lab 3.2.11, exploring processor, threads, handles, and the Windows Register. Now, we did a little bit on processors in the first lab. Now we stack it on some more information for you. I want you to start thinking like a system engineer. I want you to get the concepts of what a processor is, what a thread is, what a handle is, and ultimately understand the Windows Register. Because we know messing around with the Windows Register is extremely dangerous. These are fundamental elements of how an operating system works, and understanding them is key for both security and system performance. But with that being said, let's move forward. So now let's get a definition of processors. Okay, so what is a processor? Yes, student, I'm asking you, what is a processor? A processor is a program in execution, meaning a program that's actually functioning, working right now while this system on. If you look at my computer, you can't see the processors doing their work, but they're programs that's actually happening right now. And it's essential. Every processor runs in its own isolated space and has its own memory and resources. Just think about the CPU. The CPU runs in its own space, but on that chip, it has its own resources or utilizes its own resources and also has its own memory. Now, from a security perspective, processors are isolated from each other. But we know that some people who are hackers know how to escalate privileges and do buffer overflows and can allow malware to break out of these isolated states. You can send a code in there that can change the state of what you want to, or what the processor should do and what they want it to do. So that's why we looking at processors, so you can be able to check on them and make sure they working well. It's the same thing with a thread. Here's thread, right? Threads. You want to make sure, even though it is the smallest unit of execution within a processor can have multiple threads and they share the same resources and memory space as the parent processor. So think of a processor as a container, and think of a thread or threads are the workers inside of the container, the workers inside of the processor. Now, like I said, from a security perspective, since threads share the same memory space, if one thread is compromised, all of them could be compromised. Okay, you already know that. If I can take over your system, the point is to corrupt everything. So that's the breakdown of threads. Now, when we talking about handles, you may ask yourself, what is a handle? Okay, you may say, hey, Professor, but what is a handle? Now, this is where it gets a little confusing, but you can handle this. Is an isolated reference to the system resources. So when we're talking about handles, we're talking about the resources that the system use. Like this Windows system right here, if I click on this Windows system uses a lot of resources. It has in here files, it has register keys, it has network sockets. It is used by processors and threads, but these things come together to allow it to function correctly. I want you to understand that each processor has a table of handles, which are points or access tokens for various resources. I'm gonna say it like that, various resources. Okay, so just make sure you now when it comes to the Windows Register, you pretty much already know what the Windows Register is. I mean, it's just a database, a hierarchy database used by Windows OS to store configuration settings for both the operating system and the system within itself, the applications and all that that's on the system. So, and it uses these things that we call keys, register keys. But we don't want to mess with those keys because it can corrupt the system. So that's a basic understanding. Now it's much deeper than that, people, but you just need to know what is a processor. You need to know what are threads. You need to know what is handles, and you need to know how not to allow someone to corrupt your register. I'm gonna put some information in here for you inside my YouTube page so you can read through it. Okay, so now we got a basic understanding, and it was really basic, so don't think I went really out there, but it was really basic. And just play the video over and over again if you really don't understand it on the first go round. But I think you got it. I think you got it. So now, here is the content that we'll be working with. And we're going to walk through this, okay? As you can see from looking at my screen, I already accomplished this right here. I got a few more things to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the toolbox, okay? From the toolbox, I'm going to go back into this folder. And I'm going to look for that particular file. Now, the file that I'm looking for is this one right here, as you can see. And I'm going to go look for that particular file. Open it up and get it started, okay? So let me go. I'm going to change. You know, I like to change the setup so I can go down. But you just have to be careful when you're going down looking for these files. Okay, I think I found it right here. We got a 64-bit file in there, and we got just a regular file. So we're going 32. So we're going to open it up, 32-bit file right there. So we got it open now, okay? Now, if I'm reading this correct, and I'm jumping back and forward, it wants me to now open up, if I'm not mistaken, it wants me to open up a web browser. Okay, first it wants me to open the file up. I just saw that. Let me go back and do that right quick. I'm going to open up the file. Oh, I already opened it up. See, I'm moving ahead of the game right there. Open. You got it right there. I know I'm jumping real fast, but I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, so there we go. We got it open. Now it says open up Mozilla. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to click on this once. It's going to open Mozilla. And to find out where Mozilla is in here, I'm going to use this tool right here called Find Windows Explorer. And I'm going to drag it over to Mozilla, and booyah, it's going to show me the file right there. Now, I'm going to kill that process. I'm going to see if it's going to close Mozilla. Let me pull it down a little more. So I'm going to come to this second one right here, and I'm going to right click on it and say kill process. There it is. It killed the process, meaning it closed the process. That will be your job as a system engineer, to go in here, check these files, find malice and corrupt things, and kill them. Simple. Okay, let's move on. What else do we have to do in here? Now, I'm going to come back. You know one important thing, though. As you complete all these steps, you taking screenshots. Now, you may not see me consistently take screenshots, but I need you to take screenshots because it's important that I'm able to look at your files. Remember, I'm going to have a hard copy document that you're going to upload into D2L, and I'm going to look at your screenshots to follow the pattern to see that you know how to do this work. So I killed the process. I'm going to bring it down, and I'm not going to do everything. I'm just going to do enough to let you know that what's correct. Now, you're going to answer these questions on your own. I'm not going to answer them because I want to see if you know what you're talking about. Now, it's telling me start another process, and I'm going to go ahead and start another process. This time, it wants me to click on start, and it wants me to look for CPU or CMD, excuse me. It wants me to do the command console. Uh, I normally do the command console by just coming here and typing in CMD. Okay, give it a minute to search for it, and there it is. Then I click and open it up. There's the command console right there. I'm gonna come back here. Now of course I'm gonna take this and just put it on here, and it's gonna show me right here at the very bottom. There's the command console right there. So this is how easy you can go search out and find these particular files. Oh, let me make sure you do this, because some people are going to forget. You're going to come here while you're doing the work and take a screenshot so I can see that you actually did the work. And like I say, people, you got up to 50 screenshots you can take. So take as many as you want. I just want to be able to walk through the patterns and make sure that you actually doing the work. So I did that. I opened that up. I used the find key. It says notice the process of command prompt is CMD is executed. Its parent processor is Explorer CMD, and we got it right there. And it's got a child, parent, child. Let's go down and see what else it wants me to do. It says in the Explorer option, click options, and always at top. So now I want to, I always change the direction of things anyway, because I'll come here and go and click right here to bring things up and bring it down. But it wants me to go to Explorer and say always on top. So it wants me to use the options right here and go down to always on top and put it on top from here. Okay, so but it's multiple ways you can do this. You can click right here and it has you doing it that way. You're gonna go ahead and take a screenshot, of course, just to show me that you got it on top. And there it is. Let's see what else it's asking us to do. It's simple stuff that you're doing in here, but it's a reason you're doing that simple stuff. It says here, ping the gateway right here. I'm going to see if I can copy that gateway. I know it by heart, 192.168.0.1. And you know what? I'm not going to create bad habits for you. I'm going to go ahead and type it in, okay? So it says here, ping space 192.168.0.1, if I'm not mistaken. Hit enter, and it's actually pinging. You see the work happening right here. You see it going on. So you're going to take a screenshot, of course. Okay, there you go. You letting the professor know that you're doing the work exactly the way it should be done. You got your ping going on, and you're doing real good. Now remember, don't forget that command called ping. That's important. And they're going to ask you what happened. You should be able to explain that. Let's go down. Now it says, let's do exploring threads. Now, always remember, go back and ask yourself, do you remember what you did? You was exploring an active process. And that's what we did. We was exploring active processes. Now we in level 2. And I'm not going to make this too long, but I want to make sure you understand it. Now in this particular level, it says in this part, you will explore threads and handles. Processes have one or more threads. A thread is a unit of execution in the process. And here it is right here. A thread is a unit of execution in the process. And like I said, what is a processor? What is a thread? What is a handle? Ask yourself them questions. They are critically important when you're out there working. A handle is a abstract reference to memory blocks or objects managed by a operating system. You will use Process Explorer, this PCAP file, in Windows Sys internal suite to explore threads and handles. So here we go. We're going to go to command prompt. From command prompt, we're going to say in the Process Explorer window, right click con host, and so on and so forth. So let's go do some of that. Okay. And we want to go to the command. So it says open up command prompt. I think I already got command prompt open. Let me check to make sure if I got it open. And that is command prompt right here. It's open. Okay, I'm going to move it right there. Okay, what's the next thing it wants me to do? it says in the Process Explorer window, right click host. So I'm gonna go back to the Process Explorer window over here, and I'm gonna look for it right there. There it is. So I'm gonna right click on it, and from right click, it looks like it wants me to open this up. Let me go do a quick check to make sure. It says click properties. Okay, that's why you always got to do a quick check. I'm gonna click on properties. There it is. Okay, so there it is right there in front of us. Okay, the next thing it wants me to do, it says click threads tab to view the active threads in this file. So I'm gonna go back and click on the threads tab. Let's jump over here. We're gonna go to threads. It's right up here. Just make sure that you're using the right file. Right click. Let me see. I'm gonna double click on it and bring it over here. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because I know that it's not really a problem. It's just that I'm doing. There it is right there. Now you see what I just did. I double clicked on it and opened it up, but at first, remember, I right clicked on it and open it up. So just make sure you watch those particular mistakes, because that's exactly what I did. Or I just didn't wait long enough. So it could have been both of them. So just make sure you wait long enough when you actually working on this. But that go to threads right there. These are the threads that's working back there. Let me go back over here. So the threads tab, and then we clicked on that and we see what's happening in there. Okay, so that's cool, and it's really cool. It says examine the details of the threads and give your answer to that, and then just click cancel to close it. So with that being said, we're coming up on 20 minutes in this particular lab. I'm gonna skip by this because I know you know how to do this and you gonna do it. But I'm going to go down here to Windows Explorer because I don't want to waste too much time. But just make sure you don't skip anything like me. Explore handles. The reason I got to keep these video logs short because I know it's taxing you by watching them. But I do want to make sure. Now, I could just go right here and go to knock that out real quick. Let me make sure I close all this here because it did say cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm gonna say okay or cancel, and I'm gonna leave that open. But like I said, I'm just gonna let you work on that. You know, it says in the processor window, Process Explorer, click View, then click Lower Pane, and the lower pane come over. That's just a commercial for me. I'm not gonna spend time on that, but I do want to show you a little about the register. Here is information about the register. Make sure you read this because this is deep information about the register. I'm going to skip by that and just go to what it wants me to do. It says search icon, register. It says to access the Windows register, click the search icon in the task pane and type in Reg Ed. I mean, we do this all the time, people. We just simply do it all the time. But I'm going to just quickly go through it. Right here, it's going to, here's the search icon. And I'm going to right click and see if that drops that in there. It didn't do it. So I'm going to say R-E-G, Reg. Yeah, there it is. One of the things you'll learn when you jump on systems, like I jump from system to systems, and when I type in, it automatically self-feeds itself and show it. But I guess for some reason, because this is a totally new system to me, it's not showing it. Now, I'm going to keep this short right here. As you can see, these are the register keys. And in the register keys, if you open up one, it's got a lot of system stuff going on here. This is a place we don't want to mess around in. This is a place you don't want to break fix it. I know some people don't understand that, but you don't want to break fix it. Right here, it's going to have you click on the user account and then go in here and start editing the user account by putting certain commands in there. I am not going to do that because by now you pretty much get the picture of what we're doing here. As you can see, they changed the 1 to a 0. So that changed the outcome of the bytes within this system. So with that being said, students, this is Professor Sistrom, and I hope you're getting a real good understanding of what we're doing here. Make sure you take multiple screenshots so I can see your work. But you see that this is simple stuff. Take your time. You see me rushing through it because I'm trying to keep the time down, but take your time. With that being said, this is Professor Sistrom, and I'll see you in the next video log.